Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a Tarot Oracle reading, and this is for the new moon total solar eclipse that's happening on August 12th. And you'll probably feel the energy of this 3 days before and 3 days after the new moon. And Virgo, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign, whoops, I think I do have my deck upside down, yes. All right, there we go. If your sun sign is not Virgo, we all have a little bit of Virgo in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Virgo in, that could give you more understanding about this reading. And this is also general or collective reading. General meaning that it's for anyone who wants to watch it. You're included, and also my collective, I consider the subscribed people on my channel. Their energy comes in because they watch more often. They're here more often. All right, so the collective and general reading, and it's also timely. So the energy here for the underlying energy for this reading is talking about the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is representing you having learned some sort of information. And now that you know what you know, that you have conviction beyond a doubt that you're going to stand up for yourself. And so this shows an individual standing on higher ground. And the wands represent the energy, the element of fire. And they are made of wood because wood fuels the fire. And this is talking about, this one wand, you're protecting your heart with it, and you're standing up for yourself. You're on higher ground. You notice there's a boot on one foot, and then there's a shoe on the other. And there's these other actions, passionate action coming from others coming towards you. The boot and the shoe quite often indicate that you're sort of caught between two realms or two worlds, and that you're fighting for your footing, basically. And it's also talking about sometimes it can be walking in someone else's shoes, or someone's trying to walk in yours. So sometimes this can be conviction beyond a doubt, as in the person has been caught and is going to prison. And it's talking about, forgery, identity theft, that type of energy. Not always, but it can be. And then we do have the moon energy. So the moon's talking about the hidden illusions and secrets that come out. The moon on August 12th is a new moon, and it is also at the same time a total solar eclipse. It's in the sign of Leo, and opposing that energy is Aquarius. Aquarius is across the wheel from Leo, and it's talking about like when there's eclipse energy, that usually extends over about a 6-month period. And it's kind of like the energy, you don't notice it that much, but if you look back, like we just had an eclipse season ending and this new one starting, and the eclipse season that we had before was on February 17th and March 3rd. And so if you look back to that time frame, you may, take a look at, okay, what happened then? And I suggested to people back then, and I suggest it now, write down 5 to 10 things that, in point form that you would like to accomplish. Something even as simple as cleaning out that closet you've been avoiding for years, and it really, and then just put it away. And when you pull it out 6 months later, you might be really shocked at how much you really accomplished. When we write things down, we have a tendency to commit to them more. And it also is, you're not really thinking about it, but you have put it down on paper, and that tends to, people are more likely to do what they've written down than if they don't. Also, the energy of this eclipse, the eclipses, it comes in cycles, like in series of, there'll be a series of eclipse energies that are of the same sign. And the last time we had the Leo Aquarius axis was August of 2016 to January of 2019. So that time frame may be significant for you. And also we had February of 2008 to August of 2009, going a little bit further back. And then if you want to go way back, we have 1998 August to July of 2000. So those time frames may be significant. It might give you some clarity as to, like, you might remember like what the energy was like back then, what it was about, that type of thing. Might just give you further clarity as to the situation. So at the top here we have the Leo energy and we have the Aquarius energy. So Leo, it's not a really heavily conflicted energy, because Leo does want to be an individual, and Leos are natural born leaders, but they take time to mature into that. So sometimes they want to lead when they're not ready to, or not, are not, other people don't want to follow them, but they want that energy anyway. And so sometimes when they lack confidence, it can come off as arrogant, but it's really their natural state of being to want to be a leader. They're usually very charismatic and fun to be around. And the Aquarius energy also really, really likes individualism. But the Aquarius energy is more likely to consider the needs of the group and ask the opinions of the group of people, or the family, or the unit, and co-workers, etc., and ask for others' opinions and include them in that decision making. So it's more inclusive, but they still do value their individualism. And Leo, it's more like my way or the highway. Follow me or else. And so the moon energy is talking about, it's a great time to use your intuition. It's usually much stronger. This lobster wants to climb out of the emotional waters here and go down this path, but he's concerned because we've got that dog and that wolf howling at the moon, and he's wondering, like, how am I going to get past them? You know, I feel so vulnerable, and he doesn't want to have to go around because he's a lobster. It'll take him forever on land to go that. So he's waiting for them to fall asleep or do something or get so excited by the moon that he can sneak by. And so this is his path of glory. And it is talking about that. This is the only card with the eclipse, the full moon and the new moon energy. And so he's the domestic dog and the wolf the domestic dog represents the energy of, like, your at-home life and your own personal goals. And the wolf represents your wild side when you're out and about and your public image. It's talking about you need to have a strong balance between the two. If they support each other, you're more likely to have a lot more success in your life and have an easier life doing it. And then we have the Empress energy, and the Empress is talking about the energy of all four queens in the minor arcana rolled into one person, which the Empress is in the major arcana. And so she's considered to be a very powerful manifester, and it's because she has all this life experience and she's been learning all this, and this energy. She is considered to be pregnant with possibility. She does put plans in place. This is represented by the wheat at the bottom of her feet here, and it's talking about, if she decides, okay, I'm going to grow a crop, she's going to decide, okay, what kind, and she decides, okay, it's going to be wheat. And the wheat, she has to decide then which field would be the best. And then take a look at choose the field, take a look at the soil. Does it need amending? Does it need fertilizing? Then she's going to make sure all the rocks and stones are picked off the land that could damage the expensive seeding and harvesting equipment. And then she's going to sow that seed at the best time that she can. And after that, she's an organic farmer. She doesn't spray, so she's just going to leave it up to wave her wand and say, okay, nature, okay, universe, grow me a really beautiful crop here, a bumper crop. And she's known for producing that. She's not going to worry about it. She might go out there and do a rain dance or two if needed, but she's not going to stress herself out. She knows I've done everything I can and to make this work. And all I can do from this point on is, wait to see how it turns out. And so she moves on to the next project. She doesn't waste her time worrying about if it's going to work or not. She knows, okay, I've done everything I can, or that I've invested the time, money, and energy that I'm willing to invest in this project. And I'm not willing to invest any more than that. So it'll work out as best as it does. And then we have the Magician. And this is talking about an energetic upgrade coming your way. The Magician takes from his thoughts from above, all the skills and talents that he's been given from the Most High, and brings those talents down to earth to create a beautiful garden for himself. And on this bench, he has all the tools he needs. He just has to learn how to use them and which tool to use for which job. And he's got that infinity symbol above his head, and this is representing 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. And so this is talking about creating a beautiful garden on earth. He's wearing an Ouroboros, and the Ouroboros is a snake biting its tail, and it's talking about shedding your skin every once in a while, letting go of what no longer serves you so that you can move into new energy and embrace the new. Like, it's, if you're standing at the buffet of life and you've got your plate out and you have your table, your scraps from the last meal, it's not going to taste as good as if you don't get a fresh plate. And so it's talking about that energy. This moon itself and the eclipse energy brings out long-term changes. Sometimes it can be something that's building for a while, and it's time. Okay, it's time for me to make that change, particularly when it comes to romance, to your dating, hobbies, sports. The things that you enjoy doing as an individual, are they still bringing you the same satisfaction as they used to? And it also will point out the flaws in the important systems, like in the world, and also on a global scale, and also in your own personal life. And it kind of gives you the passion. Like, after you look at it from that, if you can see a creative solution for the problem, that you would be able to move forward. And it's kind of this energy, now that you know what you know, you're going to take the steps of action with passion to maybe redo it or to start fresh. And this energy is also talking about this desire to be able to stand out as an individual. And that comes really strong from the Leo energy, which the moon is in. And then it also is talking about your ability to be able to kind of work with other people as well as and stand out in your own individuality. And so the Virgo energy is pretty much aligned with this anyway. Virgo energy is very analytical. And so this moon, it might just inspire you to move into different ways of doing something. Maybe you've been thinking about making some changes, and it feels like the world is your oyster. And it's talking about and this energy is coming in down here. So we'll get into that. The Aquarius energy, and that's shining light on the situation here and opposing the energy to say, hey, wait, have you looked at it from this angle? Totally a Virgo energy. The High Priestess, she's sitting in between these two pillars. The pillars represent extreme opposites. One represents Jesus and the other the devil. It doesn't get much more extreme than that. And then she's got all this information pouring in, and it's very busy in the background. Information equals energy. So, it does feel like we have so much information so easily these days. It feels like time is speeding up because there is more energy around, because there's more information accessible. But it can be really overwhelming at times. And it's like the High Priestess uses her intuition, and she's very familiar with the different phases of the moon and the cycles, to be able to take advantage of that, to bring her intuitive abilities out and come to creative solutions by using her logic and her intuition. So she'll ask a logical question, and she might say she gets 5 logical answers, but which one is the best one for her? Every one of them could work, but which one is going to be the best one? And so she'll ask the question logically, get the answers, and then quit thinking, and just, you know, maybe pray, meditate, get her body really calm, turn her mind off, stop thinking, and pay attention as she looks at the different options, which one stands out to her. So quite often, like if someone is weak energetically to something, psychosomatically, the body will send sensations when you see or hear or, you know, say out loud or write down something that, that doesn't, you know, it feels weak to me. That energy, a lot of people describe it as like an elevator when it drops, you know, when your stomach, ew, it drops down like that. A lot of people talk about that being your gut instinct. Pay attention to that, because it's telling you that you're not, like, it might be a good answer for someone else, but it's not the one that is the best one for you. And then if you know, you'll be looking at another one and all of a sudden you just want to straighten your spine out, you know, and you feel like standing tall. This is the one. Go with that instinct. If they're all logical anyway, you may as well go with the one that resonates with you intuitively, and then put that logic and that creativity together and put it into action. You may be surprised at how much better your results are. They're more in tune to what your own authentic desires are, not just, you know, there's always many different answers to most problems. And then we have the Page of Cups energy. So some sort of information communication is coming in about love. Now, this is saying someone has their eye on you, possibly for a romantic relationship. But the cups can also be talking about something, anyone that you love or anything you love. And it can also be talking about something that you love to do or be. So, you know, if it is about romantic love, the Page of Cups, he understands that there's plenty of fish in the sea. So you know, he's really focused on this one, though. This is the one he has his eye on. So this definitely could say you have your eye on someone or they have their eye on you. And because the pages work very young, from 7 to 14 years of age, they would work for the king and the queen in the court. And when they were 21, they might even be considered for knighthood if they were still there. But if they could afford a horse. So this is sometimes talking about some information or communication coming in regarding a time frame when you were in like elementary school, high school, you know, in maybe college, university, just starting to apprentice in the workforce, some sort of energy like that, and or maybe the people that you met back at that time. Maybe you're going to run into someone that you haven't seen since that time frame. Quite often it can talk about that type of energy. And it doesn't have to be romantic love. That could be someone that could really empower you in your business or in an idea that you have to move forward, something that you love to do or something that you love to be. We have this energy here saying that I feel like this is talking about, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone from that age group, but it can sometimes be about being in that energy. Like you may have started something new. You could be like, you know, it doesn't matter what age you are. You could be like 80 and start a YouTube channel and you'd be new at it in this energy. It's talking about being new. And so, but then you get to a certain point where you're in an elevated position, and that's what this is talking about. So most likely this is talking about a time frame back then, though, and it sometimes can also talk about someone that you haven't seen for 7 years, 14 years, 21 years, going just to give you an idea what this might be about or who this might be. And then we have this energy saying that you are in that elevated position. People are starting to notice that you're very good at what you do. Quite often this represents like the entertainment industry, like actors, actresses, musicians, singers, artists, sculptors, as such is the case here. This is a stonemason. And it's saying like this, this could represent athletes, something that you're really good at doing. Other people can do it, but nobody's going to pay them, to come to a concert and listen to them sing for 2 hours. And it's talking about a specialized something that you have, unique ability to do it in a way that it stands out above the crowd. And these people have noticed and they've heard about you, and they have come here. They have plans in their hand, and they do have a spotlight on your work. And so this can be talking about definitely people coming in, like directors, producers wanting to produce your music and maybe put you on tour, or be in the leading role for the next blockbuster on Hollywood, or maybe you're an athlete and this is scouts coming with scholarships for university or college, or it could even be you're already there, already have the scholarship, and now they're saying they're scouting for a professional team, which is like a woohoo. This is really good energy. You're in an elevated position. The warning with this card is to make sure that any contracts or agreements that you sign, that you really have a lawyer that understands these agreements, and you make sure you do it, because many, we're seeing this in the files that came out, you know, in the last 6 months here. There's always, every day, there's been a new truth or two coming out about some shift that's been going on, you know, and behind the scenes. And this type of energy, it's, you know, rampant in certain industries. And so you want to make sure that you get a lawyer that does those contracts. That's what they specialize in, so that you don't end up signing something that you really, really regret later. That's not the way you want to live your lifestyle. The Pentacle energy is talking about health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. And a big part of that is money, but you can accept the money for an offer and then just really have a miserable life after, because you signed up for something you didn't realize you were signing up for. Like maybe you, you know, they're like, oh, okay, you know, you sign the papers and then you shake hands and they're like, yeah, okay, so we're going to go and outfit you in those cowboy boots and cowboy hat. And you're like, cowboy boots and cowboy hat? I'm a rock and roller. And they're like, not anymore, you're not. You didn't read the fine print here. You signed up for being a country music star. And you're like, I hate country music. And they're like, well, you don't now. And you've signed the contract and you don't really have any choice, because you don't have the money to fight it. It's that type of energy. So this is talking about being, you know, careful what you sign and making sure that it's in alignment with your lifestyle. Now, this energy quite often can represent secret societies, and so they have a lot of rituals and different ways they do things. And if you don't do things their way, they don't like it. And even if they ask you and you don't do things their way, they don't like it. And, you know, so there's can be a lot of force coming toward you because of that. But you're better off standing your ground here and making sure that you don't lower your standards, or do something, sign up for something that you know is going to make you miserable. And there could be hidden illusions and secrets in contracts or agreements. So just be aware of that to protect yourself, and be proud of the fact that you shine. And the Page of Cups is talking about this energy of, you know, maybe you have someone they have their eye on you and they're wanting to ask you out, or you have your eye on someone. And maybe in the past, like, you would have thought, well, I'm not going to ask them out. They're not going to go out for me. But now you're like, hey, I'm all that. I'm gonna at least, you know, put myself out there and do. It's like you're becoming more yourself, or you're stepping into your power a little bit by standing up for yourself. You have conviction beyond a doubt what actions you want to take in life. And then we have the Empress energy, that when, you know, once you have that conviction, it's much more likely that you're going to manifest like the Empress way, where you're using your creativity and your intuition and your logic all at once. And so you get a lot done quickly and you don't stress out over it. And then we also have the energy of the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is use your intuition again. And it's talking about, you know, to stand up for yourself. Make sure that if your intuition, you know, if you get that elevator gut feeling, you know what that's about. So you want to make sure that you look into it at least. And then this is talking about, this would be an energetic upgrade. When you start learning to use the skills and your knowledge in different ways, you're going to have a much easier outcome a lot of the time, and you're more likely to be in touch with your more authentic desires. So I feel like that's the energy that's really going to be playing out for this energy, for the Virgo energy. It doesn't surprise me. Virgo energy is very analytical and clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. The Virgo energy doesn't like loose ends and loose questions, and they can, if you say to them, which of these 5, well, they'll obviously know the one right away. They're very good at, looking at it and their eye going directly to where the problem is. And so I'm going to clarify this, though, for those of you who want further clarification using my oracle. And this is Tales from the Vector, and it's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. This is one of the paintings from the oracle and from the series for the horoscopes, the zodiac. The numbers on these cards represent the paintings, how they're numbered in my gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. So I will put them in the order that they show up here in the description box for the video. And you can take a look at them if you want. So we have jealousy. Is a karmic space that we can fall into. So you could have people that are jealous of your ability, and maybe they've been kind of downplaying. Like, let's say you write a book and you publish a book, and you're proud of it. Like, it might not make to the New York Best Timers sell list, but you put a lot of energy into it. And it's kind of like, how many people actually publish a book and write? A lot of people say they're going to. It's like starting a YouTube channel. A lot of people say, one day I'm going to start a YouTube channel, but they don't. And so it's taking those first steps. And so people might be jealous of something that you've done there. And so what they'll do is, sometimes they won't show it openly, but they just won't mention it to you. They won't congratulate you. They won't acknowledge it. It's kind of like, whatever, it's like, oh, well, anyone can do that kind of energy. Anyone can be the lead actor or actress in a Hollywood blockbuster movie, not really. So that's the energy. You have to start somewhere with your dreams, right? And so this is talking about attachment, though. It's another karmic space talking about when people get attached, maybe they can see you're doing really well and they are jealous and they're starting to show it. They've become attached to your destiny rather than their own. They feel like, why should you deserve that? Why don't I have that? And the saying here is, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. So that doesn't sound really, really fair. And the attachment to it can cause people to act really sometimes act way out of character, or maybe show their true character sometimes. When people become attached to people, places, things, then we have a tendency to want to do anything to hang on to them. And some people will take that to the limit, So it's talking about that kind of energy that's been directed towards you. And now that you have figured that out, you're like, hey, if they think I'm that good, then I must be. And it pushes you to become in this Empress energy. You're like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to achieve my dream. And I'm not letting any energy stop me. So way to be. We have father figure energy here sitting right on this Empress energy. So remember, the characters in tarot are not gender specific. So you could be a male figure in that energy of the Empress, in your feminine energy. But it also can talk about you might be a father, or this could represent a father figure that maybe inspires you, that's in this Empress energy, or someone that pushed you to the point where you move into that energy. Sometimes it can also be talking about your paternal bloodline. And so your father, your grandfather, great-grandfather, there might be some sort of gift or something that's so that you're about to receive. It's an energetic upgrade for you. And that could even be like people that you consider to be like mentors, like fathers coming in and really empowering you in something. And it can be talking about people like maybe that you look up to. They could be uncles, male cousins. It could be brother energy. So it's someone that inspires you to really go for it. And then we have the need to be right. And the need to be right is another karmic space, and these three often come together. If you would rather be right than happy. So if someone says, anyone can write a book, and you say, well, actually not really, because most people don't, then they'll say, well, and they'll give you statistics, which shows that they have also wanted to write one, but just never get around to it. And it's funny because quite often when people are jealous of someone else's destiny or whatever, it's because they are afraid of it. They're afraid of going out there and failing. A lot of people don't get started because they're afraid they're going to fail. And you are going to fail if you're pushing yourself to do new things. But it's fun. It's fun to do new things and see whether or not you can do them. At the very least, even like this YouTube channel for me, I was really challenged in my computer skills. I've learned so much, and I joined a group. We inspire each other to, keep going and keep doing it, because the process of, putting yourself out there on a YouTube channel can be quite humbling. Let me put it to you that way. And so you can take it, but you'll learn so much from that. You learn not just about computer skills and that, but you also learn so much about yourself and about how to approach, where your weaknesses are in your energy. When you're willing to look into that, that's when you really start to move forward. So the need to be right, or would you rather be right all the time, or would you rather be happy? And the other thing is, if you have to be right all the time, then probably others have to be wrong. And so if other people have to be wrong and you always have to be right, you're probably not going to be as happy. It's better to be wrong some of the times and be happy. And then we have the hangman energy. And the hangman is talking about stuck energy sometimes, or it can be talking about, this energy of really looking at something from all angles before making a decision or before taking action. So, the hangman hangs from the tree of knowledge upside down, and when his aura gets really bright, then he takes action, because he knows, okay, I've looked at it straight up, upside down, from both sides. I've looked at it from every angle, and this is the action that I've decided I'm going to take. We have the foolish journey is, I feel like there's not really a whole lot of love energy, like romantic love energy. It could be for some, but this feels more like an energy of, you might even it can be an energy of people watching you, and thinking, how are you doing something, or they're trying to figure out how you do it, and do it so that they can have what you have without copying your energy, basically. And that's this energy here with this, boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. And so it's kind of foolish energy, because it creates expectations will always create limitations. You can't hop into someone else's shoes and go out and try and do things the way they would do it rather than the way you would do it. In most areas of life, you can do that for a little while, but eventually, it's going to be foolish. You can't be someone else forever. It's a lot of work to be a liar as well. So it could be something to do with that type of energy. You may or may not be aware of it, or you're aware of it, but you don't realize to the extent that it's gone. And then we have this energy of, I was wondering if this Uranus energy would come up. The Aquarius energy is ruled by Uranus, and it comes up quite a lot in the readings these days, because Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini about 2 months ago, and Uranus is quite a it's a planet that has a lot of pull on the Earth. And bottom line is, the last time Uranus was in the sign of Gemini was back in 1941 to 1949. It takes about 7.5 to 8 years for Uranus to leave one sign and move into the next. And so it's been 75 years since Uranus was in the sign of Gemini. And this energy is wanting, bottom line, Uranus in Gemini wants the truth to come out. And we're seeing that coming out a lot. And it's only been 2 months of it. Like, Uranus is going to be in Gemini until 2033. So from this time of this reading, 7.5 to 8 years. And you can see it. Like, there's also, and it's really interesting, the truth is coming out in weird ways. Like, like ways that you wouldn't expect the truth to come out. And it's kind of funny. Like, I've been kind of keeping track of some of them, and it's like, wow, the way that, like, there's the, the Lego out there, and now we have the Senate hearings. And it's like, who would think that, that this information would come out the way it does, and it's not an expected way that you thought it would come out, but and it can be weird truths as well. And since, like, this energy hasn't been with us since 1941 to 1949, that's that energy where it could go back quite a ways into, and it could even be something that happened to your ancestors, And you might find out something coming up about that with the energy coming in from that energy. But it's kind of interesting energy. The truth is wanting to come out. And Uranus is a pain in the butt for people who don't want the truth to come out when it's in Gemini, because it just does. And usually it can come out quite publicly, like it's in a real way, way that you weren't expecting. That can be really fun and exciting and awesome, and it can also be challenging. So a lot of people, in the world today are feeling like, whoa, like a lot of people feel like the rug was pulled out from underneath them when they're finding out what was really going on behind the scenes in a lot of instances. So this could be in your own personal life. It could be it could be talking about what's going on in the world. And then for other people, it's very comforting, because I knew it. It's this kind of energy. I knew it. I knew that was the case. I just didn't know how to prove it. It's that type of energy. So I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. Basically, it's saying, there's going to be this little bit of push-pull between being an individual and doing what's best for your family or your career or whatever that is. And it's also talking about staying on your, sticking to your convictions. Like, if you know in your heart this is what you want to do, then give it, you'll be disappointed in yourself. You'll always wonder, I wonder what would have happened if I would have actually put the energy and effort into doing that. At least give it a go so that you can say, okay, it didn't work out, and I'm satisfied that I gave it the old college try sort of energy. All right. Thank you for your time and energy, your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. I really do appreciate them all. I'll be back with another reading for you soon. Bye for now, Virgo.